Sorry for the interruption. Four more abiotic factors: temperature and light. Sorry, temperature and water. Next. We'll finish up this and even response to this. Probably abiotic factors, number 3, it was light. Light actually, the ultimate source for entire earth is solar energy. Now we know there still some exceptions are there. The ultimate source for the light is definitely a solar energy itself for the whole world. Light is essential absolutely for autotrophs. Sure, no? Light is essential for autotrophs for the process called as photosynthesis. The question is why light is needed for organisms. True, those members are called as autotrophs. The process is called as photosynthesis. It's understood. Carbon dioxide and water is used for making of glucose. Producers, these members are called as producers. Plus, light is essential for photoperiodism. Light is essential for photoperiodism. Why light is essential for photoperiodism? Now, what is this actually? This is flowering response to light. Flowering response to light. Amount of duration of light is responsible for flowering in plants. They are called as long day plants, short day plants, neutral plants. Plants will be flowering depending upon sunlight. Long day, short day, we have like this PU1, plant growth and development. Light is essential for, indeed last, even your seed to germinate. I'm talking about plants. Itna sare important features light is controlling. Now, what about those plants? Hoping these are very tall canopy shaded trees. Now question about what about those plants who are growing under a huge canopy? What to do? What about those small herbs or shrubs? These small herbs or what you call shrubs. What about these plants? How is this so-called as solar energy getting available for them? Because continuously they are overshadowed by this huge canopy, right? What about for those plants under a huge canopy who are constantly overshaded? For such plants, these plants have undergone an adaptation to survive in optimum light. Probably I'm writing almost all the words what I'm speaking. Huge canopy के नीचे रहने वाले ये plants, nothing else, no other options. They have undergone some adaptations to manage in very optimum light, little amount of light. So can we call these plants as sun-loving plants or shade-loving plants? Now such plants are called as shade-loving plants. Means they are always probably in shade only throughout their life. They are shade-loving plants. So your NCERT has quoted what are these shade-loving plants means. These shade-loving plants are supposed to be called as ceophytes. They are called as ceophytes. Shade-loving plants are called as ceophytes. Now if you could alternately ask me, sir, what about these plants, sir, who could expose continuously to the sunlight, means sun-loving plants. Agar question पूछा गया anywhere in the option, if shade-loving plants are ceophytes in your book, what about sun-loving plants? They are called as heliophytes. So note, sun loving plants are called as heliophytes. ठीक है, everything is going on well. Basically only a few points are written on the board. I am with the third factor, which is light. I just begun the discussion, which is the light. Light is the ultimate source obtained from the solar energy. This light comes, वो भी बहुत जरूरी पॉइंट था. Light is going to come along with the temperature. Both will come together. From sun, when light comes, along with that light, temperature also comes. Correct? Temperature from outer source comes to the earth from the solar energy itself. When light comes, light along with that accumulates the temperature, and both of them would reach the earth together. Okay? Then after this, essentially, why needed light? Photosynthesis, photoperiodism, you need light. Seed germination is also, light is essential. Next, for those, light when becomes a limiting factor, continuously overshaded by very huge trees, for them light is a very limiting factor, so such plants are called as zeophytes, and they are continuously adapted for such condition. And last, sun loving plants will be called as heliophytes. Now we'll discuss next part. Sir, why do animals need light? Followed by, how about those creatures who are in the very bottom of the ocean, where there is no light at all? And at last, your book has given a question. In the ocean there is red algae, blue algae and green algae. Among these algae, which algae is maximum in the ocean, and how is it possible for them to survive with very low optimum light? So this much of one huge paragraph discusses is in your NCERT, getting discussed in your NCERT. Next part. Light is essential for the process of migration, that is diurnal activities and foraging. Yes, this is for animals. ये तो था बस. Animals, why do you need light? I need to move about for my daily activities like food, breeding ground, feeding ground, resting grounds. Correct? That is called as foraging. I need light for daily activities. So it could be even called as migration also. Some birds fly in the winter, correct? Extreme cold areas, they fly to some other place, but that is all based on light, navigation. Cow, buffalo, dogs move across during daytime. Bird like bats and owls move out during night, it's understood. Diurnal activities, right? 24 hours rhythm में डे में बाहर आने वाले, नाइट में आने वाले घूमना पड़ता है यार फॉर फॉरेजिंग, राइट? फीडिंग ग्राउंड्स, ब्रीडिंग ग्राउंड्स, राइट? as well as their other activities, resting grounds. Next. Now comes, what about those creatures more than 500 meters at the bottom of ocean manage light? Matter is, beyond 500 meters, the bottom of the ocean, there is no light at all. It's perpetually darkness. Perpetually dark. Absolutely dark. तो इस जगह में रहने वाले उन जानवरों को अब क्या बोलते हैं? Maybe these are shrimps like this. Maybe certain shrimps could be there. Maybe some crabs could be there or what. Okay, whoever it is. What do you call these organisms who are at the very bottom of the ocean in such perpetually darkness, who does not know the supremely good energy called as sun. ऐसे sun करके है दुनिया में, इनको जानते ही नहीं है. They're always at the bottom of the ocean. You call these creatures as benthic animals. क्या बोले? Benthic animals. Benthos. One word, benthic, benthos. These benthic animals aren't aware about the very supremely good energy for the earth called as sun. ये है, इनको मालूम ही नहीं है. So how do they manage the activities called foraging activities or diurnal activities? Means just common answer. Most of them are. I'm not telling all. Most of them are bioluminescent. That's all. Whoever are there? Ctenophorans, members of some arthropods, crustaceans. They can emit a light. That's all. They are often bioluminescent. After 500 meters, there is no light. It's completely dark. So how do you manage this? Very common sense. That is, in such perpetually darkness, I manage by bioluminescent. So its energy ऐसे solar है, हमको जानते ही नहीं है. We don't know it. Now come to next one more question given in your book. Your book has asked one more question. So in the ocean, which algae is thriving and how it is possible to thrive? Question: red algae, blue algae, green algae. ये तीन algae में से which algae is found maximum in the ocean and why? Right? This topic is why and how only. Why, how, bas kar diya hai. Every time why, how. How do they manage Andre? They are bioluminescent. And how, which creatures Andre? We will see. Now, UV spectrum, whatever is coming from the sunlight, this UV spectrum is captured by the ozone. Okay. Then whatever your visible light is coming out from the ozone, right? When sunlight is emitted, the ultraviolet radiations are captured by the ozone, which is called O3. बाकी का जो भी है visible light था, in this visible light, most of your plants are going to capture the visible light under say 400 nanometer to 700 nanometers of wavelength. 400 nanometer to 700 wavelength. Chapter is photosynthesis, which is the light, blue and red. So in that case, when plants capture terrestrially visible lights, then what will those algae get? Means among this, red algae is the one who is better adapted and having a maximum population able to survive in this bottom of the ocean, right? In the quite very deeper oceans, red algae के population ज़्यादा है. Red algae is able to easily survive because red algae is going to get not this visible light के just somewhere some amount of blue light and some amount of green light will be available. That's all, not anything more than that. Red algae will capture blue and green, and red algae has a pigment. कौन सा? Phycoerythrin. This is the answer. That's it. Over. What makes red algae to survive? Means red algae has a special pigment called as phycoerythrin, who will capture a blue and a green amount of light, which your plants green limit is emitted off. Green will not be captured by the plants, and some amount of blue, whatever is available, blue and green will be captured by this phycoerythrin, which is a red pigment. क्या जोड़ी है? Red, blue and green. So red pigment captures blue and green, so does the process of photosynthesis. So this is about the importance of light. So once again, light comes along with temperature. Light is needed for photosynthesis. Light is needed for photoperiodism. Light is also needed for Even germination of seed and movement of plant towards sunlight. Animals also need light for daily activities, migration, movement, foraging and other things. But for those who are in the bottom of the ocean, where there is no light, there's perfect dark, they are not knowing that something called solar energy is there. Such creatures are managing by the process of bioluminescent. They are making a bioluminescent. Then algae, red, blue and green are flourishing. Still, whose population is maximum and can better survive in the deeper parts of the ocean where light is very less available. I don't say darkness, light is very less available, blue and green of the visible radiations. They have phycoerythrin that will make them to easily thrive in the deeper parts of the ocean. Enough. We'll go for soil, and that completes 4 abiotica factors. Indeed, what soil should we also discuss? Yes, this is soil. Hoping. Let it be a soil. It's a bottom bedrock, parental rocks. Okay, large. Now, how to speak about soil? Soil definitely varies. Soil composition varies from place to place. This is true. Soil is composition getting varied from place to place. You see, Bidar, red soil. You go to Gulbarga, black soil. Correct? Just an instance. What is the thing which makes the soil formation means, ये जो rocks है, soil formation occurs. Soil formation occurs by weathering of rocks. By the weathering of rocks. Right? We are following our NCERT lines, that's all. This and that both are same, almost same. Formation of the soil is occurring by the process called as weathering of rocks. Rocks hilte, jhulte, they'll be acted upon by some acids, they'll break, particles come out, soil, whatever it is, okay? So formation occurs by weathering of rocks, so which will get mixed with the organic component and become a soil. That's all. जब weathering of rocks होता तो organic components उसके साथ मिलके बन जाता है soil itself. Enough basic information. And soil composition definitely vary from place to place. Now, there are certain important features of the soil. Soil में important feature is also there. Characteristic feature is there. What is that? Grain size, aggregation. Correct? Grain के particle के size, particle के aggregations, as well as mineral compositions. Mineral composition. This will be all important for grain size, aggregation, mineral composition. What they are going to do means, they are going to determine percolation and water holding capacity. Percolation means वो decide करने वाले कि ये soil will पानी को hold करता है, पानी को जाने के लिए देता है. The grain size, aggregation and उसके साथ जो भी mineral composition means it includes even organic content, please. Okay. So mineral word is not so suitably there. The organic composition would be much better, I guess. Organic composition, aggregations and grain size is going to determine the percolation and water holding capacity. क्या बात है? Percolation and water holding capacity. chapter is just a sake of knowledge. You need not understand also. Knowledge, bus. Soils, characteristics. Sir, what is percolation? Ability of the rainwater to go down. I'll allow the rainwater to go down to the, what do you call, underground water bed. Underground water bed के लिए जाने के लिए I allow percolation. If I allow everything, plants के लिए क्या देना? So still, soil will hold the water in minute spaces. Water holding capacity. Soil will not allow 100% water to go down. Definitely soil will be having spaces where plant will be holding it and getting the moisture. ये important है. अभी कुछ extra information I wish to write now at this point. If you want to discuss about percolation and water holding capacity, some major soils are being discussed. In India, we have sandy soil. In India, we have clayey soil. And most of the India last loamy soil. Three major things soil India has. Sandy soil, much of the geography part of India, sandy soil is there, clayey soil is there. Our belt, our North Karnataka belt, जो भी है आपके बीदर और गुलबर्गा, it's clayey soil, okay? Loamy soil. Let us check it out. Sir, how is sandy soil? इनके grains बहुत बड़े हैं, इनके grains very powdery है, okay? Because of this bigger grain size, इनके percolation rate is high percolation, but low water holding capacity. Low water holding capacity this is. So it's not so wise. It will allow all the water to drain out, but water it will not hold at all. So this is not that good for the plants also. अगर आप देखना चाहते तो clay soil पकड़ो, from which they make this मूर्ति, ओ क्या बोलते pots. In summer you take these pots, that is with the clay soil only. Right, so that clay soil, ulta, it is having a low percolation. It doesn't allow water to get down itself, but high water holding capacity. High water holding capacity, but no percolation. It's very, very low percolation. So this is also not good for plants. What to do? Last, best for the plants कौन सा करके पूछते, तब बोलना it is loamy soil. It is the very best soil for the plant growth, it seems. Why? Because you are having a high percolation rates and high water holding capacity also. That's all. So that was just an additional information. That's it. Still we have not completed. Soil, the composition, structure varies from place to place. Soil formation occurs by the process called as weathering of rocks along with the organic matter. Sometimes soil cannot be formed at this place, even though it is formed, it can be transported through air or wind also. Soil अगर यहाँ पे हुआ है या यहाँ पे नहीं हुआ है, फिर भी यहाँ पे soil है, means sometimes soil formation, the soil is transported through the activity of winds, heavy winds. It could be transported. Now, important feature is that grain size and aggregation and certain organic sediments will be important for a soil to determine its percolation rate and water holding capacity. अगर soil में ये गुण नहीं बोले तो क्या जनाब? What will you grow? What will you eat? How will the producers hold the soil? Soil has some features. Please note, important is percolation and the water holding. So based on that, based on this, our India might have been a sandy soil, clay soil and a loamy soil, but loamy soil is very best. Next. Okay, soil के pH, soil के now mineral composition and topography. Next part of your NCERT. Soil के pH, mineral composition and topography. These three words largely to a great extent decide the type of vegetation it supports. That's it. The type of vegetation it can support. Soil will decide which type of vegetation can be grown here. Kal to bole, sir, this is tropical rainforest, this is what do you call temperate deciduous forest, this is tundra, this is grassland. Why did you tell me? Niche sedimentation of the soil will determine upar kis tarah ki vegetation I can hold. In desert, can you see a mango tree? Anywhere anybody saw in the desert mango tree? Can you see somebody called as cactus? If you just peel off the cactus, the roots are very superficial, simpler fibrous roots. How is the sandy, desert means sandy soil, correct? Roots will be very diffused, easily can be pricked up. In that case, the sentence, soil ke pH, mineral composition and topography. Topography means the geographical area of the earth, with special character. Climate ke special futuristic part of the earth is topography. Largely decide the type of vegetation, what it supports. And next, the vegetation will support, the vegetation in turn dictates the animals which thrive there. That's all. So this is like this. Animals which thrive. Soil will decide the vegetation. Vegetation will decide which kind of animals it can support. That is about your soil. That's it. Very small paragraph. Very short information. But must and should, the statement has given pH, mineral composition, topography will largely decide which type of vegetation that it can support. Ultimately, the vegetation will also dictate or in turn decides which kind of animals it can support. Sir, is soil not in the bottom of the ocean? Is there. Is soil not in the bottom of the pond? Is there. What about that? Now come. Now, this was terrestrial. Now I'll go down to ocean, hoping this is a pond or it could be an ocean. Now what about the soil who is at the bottom of the pond or ocean? This soil में जो भी sediments है, soil में जो भी sediment है, organic sediment, this will decide. Soil sediments, soil में जो भी sedimented part है, that is going to determine what? The plant as well as animals in the ocean or pond. That's all. So अगर वो जमीन पे हो गया तो pH, mineral composition, topography, अगर वो जमीन पे प्लांट और एनिमल को सपोर्ट करते हैं, इन दैट केस इन पॉन्ड्स और ओशन सॉइल के सेडिमेंट्स में ऑर्गेनिक कंटेंट ज्यादा है या इनऑर्गेनिक ज्यादा है, दैट इज गोइंग टू डिटरमाइन द प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स विच अ पॉन्ड और ओशन कैन सपोर्ट. सो आंसर इज जस्ट soil sediment will determine in ponds or ocean. That was about terrestrial, but this is about the aquatic. Bus. Now quick. Responses to abiotic factors. We'll start from the next class. I'll just introduce and leave you. Okay, I'll introduce this. I'll revise and we will stop because need not start now. Responses to abiotic factors. Question is, can the habitat show variations from time to time? Yes. Habitat will show variation from time to time. Till last few days it was summer, today it is rainy. Habitat has already shown variation. Now question, when habitat can show variations from time to time, how does organisms, How does organism cope up with any by chance स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन? अगर कुछ स्ट्रेस की घड़ी आ गई तो ये एबायोटिक फैक्टर्स है. कौन से? टेम्परेचर, लाइट, सॉइल, वाटर से कुछ स्ट्रेस आ गया तो हाउ विल यू बायोटिक फैक्टर रेस्पॉन्स टू दैट? हाउ डज ऑर्गेनिज्म cope up with any stressful conditions? ये आया फिर से क्वेश्चन. Dust it out, introduce, and then keep this idea pending for the next week. ये तो सच था कि रेस्पॉन्स टू एबायोटिक फैक्टर्स कौन से? टेम्परेचर फैक्टर, लाइट फैक्टर, वाटर फैक्टर एज वेल एज सॉइल फैक्टर. ये चारों एबायोटिक फैक्टर्स को ये जो हैबिटेट में, these four factors which are in the habitat, definitely these four factors will be showing variations from time to time. Temperature increase or decrease, water means rainfall increase or decrease, light increase decrease, everything. Such things, how will organism manage to overcome such stressful situations? आपके बायोटिक फैक्टर्स भी बहुत होशियार है. बहुत मीन्स टू मच मीन्स बोकुड़. हाँ, they are also too much होशियार. How do they manage means? Number one, it is possible by homeostasis. Those members are regulators regulate. Members are conformers, conform. Members migrate. Last, members suspend. बाप रे. मेंबर्स अंडरगो अडाप्टेशंस. वो भी कौन से अडाप्टेशन? 4 टाइप्स ऑफ अडाप्टेशंस. बस क्या इतना काफी नहीं है? हाउ टू ओवरकम दीज एनवायरमेंटल सिचुएशंस, स्ट्रेस कंडीशंस. अडाप्टेशंस आर देयर. व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अडाप्टेशन? मॉर्फोलॉजिकल अडाप्टेशन, फिजियोलॉजिकल अडाप्टेशन, बिहेवियरल अडाप्टेशन, and last is biochemical adaptation. So this completes the first 40% of the chapter. When I complete this, I am 40% of your topic out. So what was this? This is all waiting for you to be discussed in your next classes. Members will manage by homeostasis. Members will behave as regulators. Members, they remain as conformers. Members will undergo migrate or migration. Members go for suspension. Suspend it is. Last, adaptations, morphological adaptation, physiological adaptation, behavioral adaptation, and biochemical adaptation. So that's all for enough. For now, I'll quit. We'll be back again next class. Thank you.